Thank you all for joining me tonight. As I said, this is going to be kind of like a choose your own adventure, real estate adventure. I'm going to try to focus on anything you guys want to hear about specifically. I do have tips that I'm going to share a bit later because anyone who is watching the replay, you're welcome to connect with me on social as well. At the end, my info will be there. And of course, any of you guys who are attending, you can connect with me too. Okay, so we are going to be navigating the real estate market in 2024. It's a hot topic in Canada. So here we go. Okay, so this is how it's going to go. I'm going to reintroduce myself again. And if you guys are open to just sharing a little bit about you, just your name and what you do. And then I will go over some tips for navigating the market. I'm also going to include some insights as well, because I know, Matthew, you had asked for 2024 market predictions and insights. So I'm going to touch on some stuff there. And then lastly, there'll be any questions you guys have. And then my contact info will be just at the end there. All right. So like I said in the intro just before, I am a dedicated realtor working the Greater Toronto area for the past 10 years, helping my clients make the right move. And I am extremely passionate about supporting local businesses and giving back to the community I live and work in. So if you guys are open to sharing who you are and what you do, I'd love to hear about it. I don't know, Kathy, if you want to go first.
Sure. So my name is Kathy Ann. You can call me Kathy. I don't know, are you guys hearing me okay?
Yep.
Okay. I work in the financial area with one of the banks.
Okay.
And that's about it. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. All right, Sil, are you good to go?
Hi, everyone. I'm Sil. I'm Deandra's dad.
Oh, yes, we've met before. How's it going?
Good, good. How are you?
Good, thanks.
Yeah, you were at last year's, the
Yes,
live one, right?
yes, I was. Yes, I was.
Yeah. I think I sat in on your session.
I think
I'm
you did,
pretty sure I did.
and I do believe that I did come out to one of Deandra's cleanup days, and I think you were there too when I came out to one of the ones
Yeah,
in Saga.
probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I wanted to had a few questions about, so that's why I signed up for this again. So,
Sounds good.
yeah. So, I'm a former key account manager.
For sure. I actually have had a few people that I know, one of my clients' wives, like
Mhm.
met him first before I met her. She had a similar something going on last year too. So yeah. Okay. Thanks for sharing.
No
All
problem.
right, Matthew, can we see you? Are you open to that?
Sure. If I can figure out how to get it to work.
Okay.
See here. Uh,
You can go ahead.
oh, here we go.
Oh,
Hello.
hey.
My name is Matthew. I work in the automotive sector and manage a facility.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Thank you guys for introducing yourselves. And Matthew, if you don't want to keep the screen on, you don't have to, no pressure. Um, and Kathy, your photo's beautiful, but if you want to come on too, you're welcome to as well. But no pressure at all. Okay, so before I get into the tips that I'm going to go over, do you guys have any specific questions you want to leave in the chat? Please do. Um, and on that note, so Matthew, I know you had asked, like I said earlier, you asked for 2024 market predictions and insights. So an insight for you all. Actually, I want to see a show of hands in the group chat. Have you guys heard of TRESA? So it is the Trust in Real Estate Services Act. Have you guys heard of it at all yet? So it's something brand new. It was implemented on December 1st of 2023. and it's going into effect now, but realtors across Ontario have until mid-year to have it in place. And before I go on, I'm curious to know if anyone is open to sharing um, a story about an experience they had with a real estate agent in their life. If anyone's, whether it's good or bad, if anyone's open to sharing a little bit, it would be welcomed, because then I'm going to go further into explaining what this is all about.
Well, we recently bought our house last year and we found our realtor was really good and patient. I thought she would be a little bit more pushy,
Okay.
but it was a good experience overall.
I love hearing that. It's so important. Like at the end of the day, there are experiences that I'm sure you guys have heard about in the real estate market that aren't always so pleasant, but thank you, Matthew, for sharing that. I really appreciate it. Does anyone have any other experiences they want to share?
Yeah, I have a really good one. When
Okay.
this is going back quite a while,
Yeah.
we had a real estate agent that took us, did the absolute opposite of everything we asked. First of all, we gave her what we can afford, and every property she showed was way over. And it's like, when they set you up for something, it looks really nice.
Yeah.
And then you compare everything back to that. But everything she showed us was unobtainable.
So you know what? I thank you for sharing that. I really appreciate it. So this new act that's coming into, it's in play right now, but basically what's going to be happening with it is it's going to weed out all that poor behavior and like bad actors is what we're calling it in our industry. Because I'm sure you guys know and you've heard there are many experiences that people have with real estate agents that are not good. I'm not going to get into, the nitty gritty of it. But what this act is going to do is to just kind of give you like a brief overview is it's 13 pages. So what happens is when you meet with a real estate agent, they need to first send this to you. If anyone is interested in seeing this guide, it's called TRESA. So it's the Trust in Real Estate Services Act, and there's a 13-page guide, and it outlines everything that your realtor will be providing to you and everything that they need to do to protect your best interests. So I'm not going to go over the whole 13 pages, but if you guys want to see one, and you want to, have it so that you have it, saved to your file so you can always like reflect and go back to it. Just, I guess if you want to leave your email, or if you want to leave a hands up in the chat, I can send it to you after. I can email it to you after, as well as anyone who's catching the replay. If you guys would like this outline, this guide, let me know. My contact info will be on the last clip, and I can send it your way too. Do you guys have any questions about that? Yeah, so it's going to be really good for you guys. To be honest, not only do you guys have not so great experiences with realtors, but so do I. So I'm hoping that this new act that is coming into place is going to help eliminate all the bad behavior and making sure that realtors are looking out for their clients' best interests. And that's that. So yeah, I just snuck that in there because I know, Matthew, you had asked for insights and stuff. So that's something coming down the pipelines. It's going to be fully in place like mid-year, which it's going to be built in to like listing packages and buyer representation packages. So it'll be in there. And one cool thing is that in the listing agreement and or the buyer agreement, there's going to be a Schedule A, which the realtor has to outline all the services that they're providing to you. So it's going to be listed in the actual agreement. So I think it's something absolutely amazing to help, like I said, make sure that realtors are, providing the best services to their clients. We good with that? Okay. Um, okay, sounds good. All right. Okay. Okay, so next. And like I said, any questions, you can ask them in the group chat. All right, so any of you guys here want to touch on any of these specific topics, or are you good if I just go through them myself? Any questions specifically about buying, selling, or leasing? You guys have any? You can pop on and ask. No, you're good? Okay. All right, so I'm gonna run through these tips, and if you do have any questions as we go, let me know. Anyone, like I said, watching the replay, if you guys want to connect, my info is on the last slide. You're welcome to connect with me there, and we can chat anytime. Okay, so for buying in 2024, um, obviously there's a lot going on in the market right now. A lot is not so good with mortgage rates, and inventory, believe it or not, is still quite low in many areas of the Greater Toronto Area and beyond. So for buying right now, a lot of people think to go like straight to their bank, but it is really important, especially right now with um, the rates right now, is to potentially seek out more than one opinion on what rate you can get. Because not only is it important to find out for that rate amount, but also like the term of the mortgage as well. So what I'm getting at is, yes, you can connect with your bank, ask them about it, but also, seek out trusted mortgage brokers and agents. If you guys need ever any, recommendations, I usually recommend two or three, and then you can, connect with them and go from there. For buying as well in this market, considering the inventory is still quite low, being flexible on closing is key, because a lot of sellers, well, many sellers right now do need to sell, but if you can be flexible on closing, then that gives you the upper hand on purchase price. You can potentially negotiate on purchase price at a better price for you if you can be flexible on closing. And of course, with any market, a healthy deposit is always welcomed. Um, it will definitely, give you the upper hand when negotiating as well. And it's good for you overall when you're buying too, right? So one other thing that I want to touch on, and I did this a lot in 2023, is building your real estate portfolio in general is important right now. So if you can't necessarily make that big purchase right now, starting off with a condo purchase, which is not as much as a high risk because it's not as much of a high price. I do highly recommend doing that, and then you can, build your steps to make your next move. Any questions about any of that?
Sarah, I got a question about
Yeah.
purchasing a rental property.
Okay.
Is there a minimum down payment required when it's an investment property?
So it depends on the purchase price. Um, and if it's your first time buying, like, you can, obviously there's ways around making that happen, because if it's your first purchase, you can still do like the 5% depending on the purchase price. Um, but for an investment property, I do believe, to be honest, I work more so with first time home buyers and resale, but I do believe you have to put down, I think, 20%. But there could be, ways around it depending on what you're buying. Like if it's going to be like a freehold or a condo, um, you can work your way around it. But we can talk more about that after if you'd like, if you want to touch on that a bit more.
I heard that before. That's why I'm asking. I thought it was kind of high for
It's it's
an
usually
investment.
it's usually 20%, but like, for instance, when I bought my first condo, it was my own condo.
Yeah.
So I only had to put 5% down. But
Hmm.
like, there's ways of working around it legally, I think. So yeah, we can talk about it more after if you'd like, and we can go from there.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I guess I guess my question will be surrounding the government incentive of the first home. I can't remember the rest of it, but the FHSA accounts,
Yeah, so I
the
actually
government.
I saw your question on. Yeah, so I have it. I have it on the next clip. So
Okay.
we'll go over that. And I have something else I wanted to add in there too that I did
Okay.
last year with some clients as well, because we can actually talk a little bit about that now. But for anyone who's looking to buy for the first time, there has been a few things that you can do in terms of if you don't have enough for a down payment. There has been family members within families gifting like funds out of their, you know, residential home to their family members and whatnot. So you just take equity out of the home and then you it's gifted to the person purchasing. I've only done one in the last year, so that's something that can happen as well to help get that healthy down payment. But I'm going to touch more on that right in the next clip. Okay, so for selling, um, in my opinion, and this is probably not going to be a popular opinion, but it's not the right time to sell right now, unless you have to. And depending on where you're located and the state of your property and the inventory levels that are happening in your area, because it is forecasted that prices are going to go down another 5 to 10% this year. Um, so there's that. So I just wanted to start off with that. I'm a realist. I am never going to come on and tell you to sell, 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 because I always am honest with my clients, no matter what market it is. But if you do need to sell, timing and price is definitely key right now. Um, Timing meaning making sure that all your ducks are in a row, and as well as when you're coming up on the market, what's happening in the area where you're listing and being realistic with your expectations. So price is key. At the end of the day, we're not in 2021 anymore. Those prices that were happening then are not happening now. Um, and multiple offer dates, that stuff is in the past right now too. But when I say that, it all depends on where you're located and the inventory levels and the demand in that specific area, because it fluctuates across the city. So timing and price is very important. And then, of course, in any market, presentation is key. So ensuring, that you have a photographer, coming out, like your realtor has hired a photographer to come out and take amazing pictures of your place, ensuring that the presentation is immaculate. If you need to have a stager come in, that is recommended as well. And then above all, knowing your next move is very important, especially if you're selling right now. If you do need to sell to buy, I highly recommend selling, getting that price point that you need to get before you buy, and having a plan in place just in case when you go to buy, if something's not there. So there's a lot of like things that need to be in place before you decide to make that move. And then of course planning and being prepared all ties into it. So yeah, I think that was pretty self-explanatory. Do you guys have any questions about that?
Sarah, quick question.
Yeah.
You know, the staging, is staging a separate cost for
So,
the owner, or is that what the agent,
so
some
many.
agents,
So sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
some agents offer this, or they recommend staging, but it was never clear. Do they cover that, or is that something you pay
Oh,
for separately?
that's a very good question. So when I sell and I meet with clients, I have like a different, tier for different services that are offered.
Hmm.
Some agents do have like their own in-house staging. So some of them do offer it within their package, but some don't. I work for a boutique brokerage, so I don't have an in-house staging company. I have ones that I can refer and recommend, but then
Right.
the breakdown of, my listing package would reflect staging cost in there, which would in turn be in my commissions. That makes sense.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
But yeah, for the most part, so just to go over that again, many agents do have a in-house staging company that is in their brokerage, like someone who works for a Remax. There could potentially be an in-house stager. For me, I do have stagers that I work with, but it does come at a cost. So it depends on my package. But a lot of the times, like depending on my client and who I'm meeting with, there can be tweaks made by me and them to use what they have to create that look that we need to achieve, right? So it just depends on a few different factors. Sounds good?
Yep.
Okay, so leasing. Leasing is, and I'm going to touch on mainly for anyone who is a tenant needing to make their next move. A few key things. The rental market right now is quite insane. It's very competitive. Prices are, like I'm sure many of you know, are very quite high. So the key thing to keep in mind when you're leasing is to have a steady, solid qualifying package ready to go before you decide to go and look and offer on any places. So what I mean by that is, the documents that are required, key documents are required to show you in the best light possible. So I'm going to just give you an example. If someone, doesn't have the best credit and they are looking to lease, then you need to highlight all of the things that you have that are really good. So if your employment letter, having a coworker or manager, like an HR letter and then a manager letter, having past landlord letters, and ensuring that all the people that you're giving as your references are available to give you a verbal reference as well. So there's a lot of things that you can do to set yourself up to give you the best package possible to be able to get that next place. So credits, obviously your credit score, the letters like I mentioned, proof of income. The landlord letter is absolute gold because that will show the new landlord that you're reliable and you're capable of taking on that lease. And then the next one is knowing your rights. So I have seen, especially in the last month, with some of my tenants, there has been a lot of not so great behavior happening on the landlord side. And unfortunately, I do think there's going to be more challenges coming up this new year where landlords, I'm going to just plain out say it, they're just going to, want to kick tenants out because they're going to want to raise their rent. I'm just being completely honest. But knowing your rights, like they can't do that. And if you ever are, you know, you're not sure of what to do, you can reach out to me and I can guide you and direct you. Calling the landlord and tenant board, they will definitely tell you what to do as well. Um, and ensuring that your best interests are looked after too. So yeah, do you guys have any questions about any of that? Leasing. And lastly, timing is so important for buying, selling, and leasing. For leasing specifically, like obviously, if your landlord is deciding to sell or they have a family member moving in legitimately and they give you 60 days notice, it's a good thing to start the qualifying package preparation prior and then start looking right away so that you can make sure you can secure that next lease 60 days later. um, so yeah, any questions about any of that stuff?
I just
No?
thought of something, Sarah.
Pardon?
Sorry, guys. Don't mean to hog. If you're going to raise rent for a tenant, is there a legal requirement on how much notice you have to give them?
So if a property was built 2018, like a condo property 2018 or later, unfortunately they can raise it anytime. So it's once a year. And for 2024 it's 2.5%. And it would normally need to be every 12 months. So giving notice obviously would be recommended because that's just, being
Yeah,
helpful so that they're prepared.
it's a
So that,
courtesy.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it's 2.5%. Okay, guys, we need to head back to the main. I didn't even get to the other questions. I'm sorry, guys. I am going to touch base with both of you guys, Kathy and Matthew. We'll touch base a little bit more. Um, ah,
Thank you so much.
Sorry, guys. I didn't even get to the last clip, and I know some people that had like 20 slides, so I don't know how anyone else got it all done. Okay, so my contact info is right here. I'm gonna send us back to the group. If you guys want to take a screenshot, you're welcome to. Anyone catching the replay, connect with me on social. You can text me, email me, and thank you guys for attending.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thanks.
Sarah.
Thank you guys.